What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Untouchable Conservative. And this is a little bit of a tough video for me to make this morning because I gotta be honest with the black community this morning, this afternoon, or whenever you get this video. I have to be honest with you guys, and it's gonna hurt. And where I come from, we call this a family meeting. We gotta have a family talk. This is not a Democrat issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a liberal issue. This is not a conservative issue. This is an issue. I come from corporate America. So in corporate America, they say we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity. They don't, in corporate America, they don't call things problems. They call things opportunities. We have opportunities in the black family today. And I am a conservative. I don't claim to be a Republican. I don't really claim to be a Trump supporter. I claim to be a supporter of Jesus Christ and of policies. Okay? So let's be clear. I don't claim to be a Trump supporter. I don't claim to be a Republican. I claim to be a conservative that believes in Jesus Christ. All right? I believe that the truth will always set you free. I believe that in the black community, we got to start having some realistic conversations about what's going on right now in the world. And the thing is, it's sad what's happening to Carmelo Anthony, because he had a right to defend himself. And I never want to see any loss of life to anybody that's black, white, Puerto Rican, red, black, brown, because we all bleed red blood. And we all come from one Father. And we all have to submit to Jesus Christ eventually, whether we want to or not. But it's sad to see that it's really no winners in the Carmelo case. There's no wins in the Mr. Child case either. It's in this case, nobody really won anywhere. Carmelo is faced with 35 years, whether you agree with it or not. And there's a young man who's not here on the earth no more. Now, we could debate that the two young boys on the football team that was white was wrong. We could debate that Carmelo was wrong for defending himself, and it led to the destruction and the demise of the young boy. But black culture has to understand one thing, and the only way we're going to change this if we change the household of the black community. The court system is not in our favor. The court system is not in our favor. That's why young black men gotta watch where they hang around at, what they do. You know, we gotta teach our sons that all white people ain't evil. All white people are not evil. All Chinese people aren't evil. All black people are not evil. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who are racist. You know, whether we want to admit it or not. You know, there are people who are racist, who are evil. I don't believe that everybody on that white jury wanted this young man to go to jail. I don't believe that. But obviously the majority of them felt like he should. But there's no way you can tell anybody what to do in a situation where they're being attacked. You just can't. I can't tell you how to react when you're being attacked, because everybody deals with pressure differently. We could reasonably say that, hey, he shouldn't have killed him. But when you getting jumped, you know, you at this point, you just trying to defend your life and you know, your body. You know. But we, as the black community, we gotta figure out where we're going wrong in the homes sometime when we're raising these young boys. Because I don't focus on the women too much, because most young girls right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't believe we can save a lot of these young women. And that's sad to say, because they've been so polluted to believe that a woman is equal to a man, and they can't be. And we got so many women running around trying to be men. Not to say there aren't men trying to be women, but I choose to focus on the male concept of things, because God focused on the man because he gave man direction and dominion over the Garden of Eden. He never really gave a woman any commandments. That's why when Eve ate ate of the fruit, nothing happened. And when God came back, he spoke to Adam. He didn't ask to speak to Eve, because he didn't ask Eve to name any of the animals, and he never gave Eve any direction with Adam except to not eat of the tree of life. But that's a different video. So, and I can't speak on any women because I'm not a woman, so I choose to speak on the male concept of things. But we got to figure out a way in the black community to save our sons. And sometimes we think in the black community we go to a white neighborhood and that's better for the children. That's not always right. Sometimes it is better to stay in your own community, you know, because then you have things like this happen. You know, it doesn't solve all the problems, but in some ways, segregation actually helped the black community, because we had Black Wall Street. Black people had a community where they helped each other and they did things for each other, rather than always go outside the community. And I'm not just talking white, Asian, whatever. Black people are the only people who consistently go outside of their community to support businesses that has not supported their own. You know, I own a landscaping company, and none of my, make sure I say this correctly. Majority of my family, not all, but majority of my family won't even support my business. I got one or two or three that will, but it's a lot of them that don't. But when I go to the Jewish community, or when I go to the Asian community, when I cut one of their grass, they want me to cut all of them. You know, you ain't never seen an Asian person in a soul food restaurant. I know I haven't. So we, as black people, we have economic power to kind of push back on certain things, but excuse me, I just got off work, y'all. It's like 6 in the morning. So we have economic buying power. We just don't own anything. So somewhere we have to figure that out. What we doing wrong, you know. And how this pertains to Carmelo is, black people haven't figured it out yet, that it's not about 50-50. It's not about who makes the most money. Your only strength is your community. Your community and your home. Every other culture have a community of people. We don't. We have certain individual sections that have a faction, and we're being brainwashed to think somebody's better than the other one because we're a Democrat or Republican. But when something happens, we have to look at things like, when something happens to this young black man, I take this personally because I have 2 black sons. You know, this could have been them. So this is the way I look at it. And this is how other cultures look at it. But until we figure out how to stop destroying each other consistently, we'll never be successful. Never be successful. Until we stop fighting each other on the internet about stupid stuff, until we stop walking out on the bill, until we stop throwing our life savings in the strip club, until we stop celebrating destroying each other in rap music, no other culture will take us seriously. And it's going to start with, we have to change the home. And it really breaks my heart to see young Carmelo Anthony going through what he's going through. But I know some people who went to jail, who did some real time, and they said he's going to be protected in there. The OG is going to look out for him. Now, for how long? Ain't no telling. But I got some friends who done did some time, and they said some of the OGs that's locked up is going to take care of him. Now, for how long, I can't say, but they said he should be okay for a little while. This is what's going on right now should wake up the black community. I don't think this is a time to cry. I think this is a time to strategize, and we need to fix some things. You know, like I said, in corporate America, like I said, we got some opportunities in the black family. We need to figure out why black families are at the highest rate of abortion in the United States. We need to figure out why black families are the lowest on the scale for 2-parent households. We need to figure out why black people are only 14 to 15% of the population. But like I said, we're number 1 in abortion in the United States. We need to figure out why melanated cultures and people in the United States are leading in STDs. You know, we gotta fix our home before we can save Carmelo. We can't be united for Carmelo and young Cyrus, who got killed by Mr. Child, but then we have to be divided when we leave the courtroom, and only together while we in church. We got to figure out how we can be together outside of the courtroom, because Black Lives Matter is a joke. Because we can't say Black Lives Matter when we celebrate destroying each other in rap music. I love you guys with the strength of Christ. You know, I try not to make my videos too long. I do appreciate everyone who's been tuning into my videos. I hope you guys gain something from it. I hope you guys learn something from it. I do appreciate you. Like, share, and subscribe. Untouchable Conservative.